Almost 500,000 protest in Catalonia as Madrid decides to impose direct rule, dismiss key regional officials and call for a snap election. RT has been under scrutiny with the UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, Britain's The Times newspaper and a European think tank all slamming this channel and insulting our guests. The Pentagon hailed the liberation of the Syrian city of Raqqa from Islamic State by Western-backed opposition forces, namely the Kurds, though the city has been left largely in ruins by the operation. The week's main stories and the top headlines of today. Welcome to the Weekly here on RT International. We do start with Catalonia, where almost 500,000 people have protested in support of independence following Madrid's decision to impose direct rule and strip the local government of its powers. The Spanish government is also calling for a snap regional election inside 6 months, and Catalan leaders have dubbed the move a coup d'etat.
This measure we are going to implement has a lot to do with the goal of holding an election in Catalonia. The region will have to hold an election within 6 months, but my intention is to hold it as soon as we recover.
The Spanish government has carried out the worst attack against Catalan institutions and residents since the orders of the military dictator Francisco Franco.
Avui, el president
Rajoy, in a greatly irresponsible act, crossed all boundaries by announcing a de facto coup d'etat to oust a democratically elected government.
Triggering Article 155, which allows for the transfer of powers to Madrid and the dismissal of those officials alleged to have broken the law, is to be passed by the Senate within days. And while the Catalan parliament won't be dissolved, it's now stripped of the capacity to elect a new president. RT's Medina Conchanova now reporting from Barcelona on local reaction.
Many people that gathered here at the square, they were listening to the address that was made by the Catalan leader, and they welcomed it with applause. They were shouting slogans, including Libertad, which means freedom. So for them, it was a big address, quite a big decision that was made. Now, we've heard other reactions coming from different Catalan government officials, including the head of the Catalan parliament that has denounced Madrid's decision to invoke Article 155 and dismiss the local government. Now, Madrid's decision provoked a really wave of outrage, and we've seen hundreds, tens of thousands of people here in the streets of Barcelona now protesting and marching, and we managed to talk to some of them.
We're a bit lost. It's the first time we found ourselves in such a situation. We've heard talk of possible support from Europe, for example, but it seems that the EU is not interested at all in what's going on here.
I think that we live in other planets, not even countries. They live, they say what they say all the time the same, they repeat the same words, not only Mariano Rajoy, the other leaders, so it's impossible to talk to them.
They don't know what they did by triggering Article 155. It was suicidal because, as you can see, there are millions of people defending Catalonia's right to independence.
What happened this Saturday in the region of Catalonia, many local authorities call de facto coup d'etat and a blow to democracy.
We spoke to Thomas Harrington, a professor of Iberian studies. He says exerting this kind of pressure in a democratic country is illegitimate.
What is the role of force in elective democracies in the 21st century? I think the consensus on the Catalan side is a very strong one. And I can't imagine that the people who were rightfully elected in the September 2015 elections going along with a new election after the government that they were elected to form part of is overthrown by the central authorities. And I think President Puigdemont makes a very compelling point when he says, well, if this can be done to us, what other things can be done to other people if you're going to sit by and let it happen?
Throughout the week, Madrid has been tightening its grip over Catalonia. On Monday, 2 Catalan independence leaders were arrested for the key roles they played in organizing the referendum. One of them's the leader of the Catalan National Assembly. The other's the president of an organization that promotes Catalan language and culture. And since then, Barcelona has seen even bigger demonstrations uniting hundreds of thousands of people.
De les urnes, perquè ho he sentit en cada repic de cassoles o en cada gest.